Well, hi, Jackie. So nice to meet you. I'm Laura from Boomx Beauty Beat. How's it going?
Good, Laura. Very nice to meet you too.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to tell everyone who you are. This is Jackie McCarnan. Did I say that right? McCarnan?
Yep.
Okay. And you wear a couple of, well, you wear a few hats, actually. One of them is first mother. You're a single mother, 2 girls, right?
Yep.
And you've got a 19-year-old, 22-year-old. So yeah, you're on your toes. You're busy. You're with North Van Home Sales. Yep. You're a real estate agent. And you also now, with your girls, run North Van Cares. Is that correct?
Yeah, the North Van Cares Foundation, yeah.
That's amazing. There's two big topics that I want to make sure we go over. One is what the heck is happening with the real estate market right now, because you know it's COVID and all that stuff. And we got to go through the story on how you started this foundation and how that all rolled out. So I'm gonna bug you for some storytelling to kind of explain to everybody, because it's pretty phenomenal. First of all, just to survive being a single mother. And then
I don't want to tell you the secret, but sometimes it's a little easier to be a single mom.
Well, yeah, I am divorced, so I guess I kind of can hear you there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a third child, it's not an add-on. You know, that's not supposed to be a child. That's kind of a
right.
But it's got its easier things, but then, you know, depending if you've got a helpful partner or not, if it's easier. So it's a hard call, but for you and for me, it probably was easier to be a single mom.
A little bit.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Anyways, well, and let's go back to your little history a bit. You used to be a social media marketer. My nemesis is social media. I didn't even know what a hashtag was 3 months ago. Like, I seriously, I'm having to learn it all.
Wow.
Rachola. I don't know, like, tell me about that journey a little bit and how you got into that and sort of your past and your career and everything.
Sure. Okay. So I spent my 20s retired in Whistler. I just worked in retail, and I skied all the time, and I loved it. And then we had a baby, and pretty quick, actually, before we had a baby, I saw the movie Toy Story, and I thought, oh my gosh, what a cool thing to do for a living. I wanted to be a computer animator. I went and we were living in Whistler, but I took courses at BCIT to learn computer animation, and I got a job as just like the worst job as a production assistant at the company that made Reboot, and it really launched a really fun and cool career for me until I had a baby.
Yeah.
And then the baby was really early, and she was very tiny, so I couldn't go back to work at 6 months, and I needed something else to do, and it had to be something I could do from home, especially living in Whistler. So I just looked around and I started writing for websites and creating websites and doing a little bit of that. And then people would hire me to do some marketing of their websites. And I very, very slowly got into that. I'd been a bit of a graphic designer prior to that, all self-taught. And then we moved to Vancouver and had another baby. And then, there was very little chance I was going to get much work done. And then we moved to Tsawwassen shortly after that. And I became a photographer.
Ooh, that's a little more up my alley.
Yeah, so I started doing family photo sessions on the beach. And I realized that was a lot of fun. And I did babies and maternity. Aww. And it was a really great way that I could make some money and also stay home during the day with my kids and, you know, work out every day. And it was kind of a nice life. But then I got bored. So I opened a custom picture framing shop in Tsawwassen. As a teenager, I worked for a photographer and custom picture framer. So these were all things that I had done before, but so the shop was great, but it was hard to run, and I was doing it by myself, and I had 2 little kids, and I was still married at the time. But Peter had his own career, and Tsawwassen's a long way away. And so I got hired, a friend of mine from animation hired me to be in HR. So I became a recruiter.
Wearing lots of hats.
Lots of hats. But a funny thing about all the hats I wear is I bring the same mindset to all of the things that I do. And recently, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, somebody said to me, people will think you do everything the way you do one thing.
I was reading that quote, and I love that quote because
I love it too, because I do everything with the same passion and intensity. So when it came to recruiting, I was very passionate about it. I loved the company and the company culture, and I enjoyed that work very, very much. And part of being on the HR team is marketing and working with the art department and marketing department, which is creative, which I love. So I learned a lot there. And then that company got shut down during the global economic crisis. And I needed
like 2009 in that time.
Yeah. January 2009. Yeah. So I needed a job, and I knew that I didn't want to commute back to the city from Tawasin every day. It was really hard on my kids, and we were now separated.
Yeah.
So there was a community project going on in Tawasin called Southlands, and it was really cool, environmental, off the grid, very cool project, but it was getting a lot of hate publicly. So I went to the developer, who is a friend, and I made him 7 voodoo dolls in the shape of mayor and council and pins. And I took it to his office and I dropped it off with a note saying, I can help you promote this project and get it through council.
Oh, you're so creative.
So before I got home, my phone rang and he called me back and hired me on the spot as a community liaison. And that went on for a little while, and it was super fun, and I learned a lot about working with municipal government, and I learned a lot about offline marketing and online marketing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was trying to do some online marketing for realtors.
Just so happened.
So, and then I'd start meeting more and more realtors and think, I could probably do that job.
You could do it.
So in 2016, I had quite a year in 2016. I had cervical cancer, and I had surgery. No, actually, don't be sorry. It was from diagnosis to surgery to recovery was 6 months. Right?
Okay.
So it wasn't
good to hear for others that might be
early detection for cervical cancer is the key. I had the tests. I had surgery within 3 weeks of the second test, and then I was clear. So anybody who, you got to take care of the pink bits, go and get them checked out, because
you call them the pink bits. That's awesome.
Just so. But it happened that at that same time I was getting my real estate license. Everything happened at the same time. But so my start in the real estate industry was slower because I had a lot of other things going on.
I would say so.
Yeah, but I never really considered that I wouldn't succeed in real estate. And all the time that I was doing that, I was trying to think of how can I give back to the community? How do I marry being a realtor who the public impression is that realtors are looking for money and calculating their commission, and how do I reconcile that with my own environmental social consciousness? Because I left out the part where I taught corporate social responsibility at the Vancouver Film School for a couple of years.
Okay.
So
you're trying to figure out how to put those two together and for it to feel good in your soul.
So those are the things that were so important to me. Taking care of our environment, taking care of our people, and it's I always think it's a very Canadian upbringing that is, what's everybody else doing? I myself have been the recipient of social programs. I'm always happy to pay into those programs to help others. But I wanted to figure out a way to mesh real estate and my need to give back. And I fiddled around with a couple of things, and then COVID happened.
And you're just launching your real estate career. Well, not just launching, but you were in it, but trying to
3.5 years
push
in
forward
when COVID hit in March.
Yeah.
And just right away I thought, okay, well, the real estate industry is gonna
That's what we all thought.
That's what I thought,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So what am I going to do with myself? I'll see if I can dedicate some time to helping people in the community.
Right.
So I started North Van Cares on Facebook, and originally it was just to get groceries and prescriptions for seniors and anybody maybe coming back from vacation, because a lot of people were coming back and had to isolate for 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, we'll just get them groceries. Like, they can't go out. And
so your mind was thinking, just to clarify, so you're thinking, okay, COVID's here. There's seniors out there. They can't go get their own groceries.
Yeah.
What can I do? And was anyone else thinking this at the time? Was this, nobody else was really doing too much with it? It was just you that originally kind of...
Well, I started it on March 17th. That was the first day of the lockdown.
That was really early. Yeah, exactly.
So, there were some other groups that were starting that were support groups on Facebook, and there's a huge one called COVID-19 Coming Together in Vancouver. And that kind of gave me the idea. But my idea was to keep it very geographically located on the North Shore, so that I could call them up and say, hey, can you go help this person? And so what happened at first was we didn't have any seniors to help, but the Facebook page started growing fast. I think I had 500 in the first week.
Jeez.
And I was like, oh, nothing I ever did in real estate or online marketing up to that point had ever had that kind of engagement.
Wow. Canadians are helpers. We're helpers when we need to be,
Yeah,
that's awesome,
exactly. So several people from the group thought, well, why don't we go and post posters anywhere that a senior might see them, and see if we can get some more people. So we started doing that, and we started encouraging word of mouth, and then I would get a phone call from some very sweet senior citizen asking for help. And I put it out.
What would that phone call be like? Would they just be like,
oh my gosh, they'd be so cute. Oh, hi, are you the lady that helps seniors?
Oh.
I don't want to bother you. Am I bothering you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Part of the reason I did it was because my own mom and dad, who are 88 and 90, live in Ontario. And I didn't want them going out to get groceries. So, but there was no one, and they would never ask for help.
Right.
Like, they've never accessed social services.
Yeah. So, it's not a financial issue. It's a needing for basic necessity foods and things. And it doesn't matter if you have money or don't have money, you can't, if you can't get delivered because they're booked.
Yeah. And that was happening.
Food. Yeah, I remember. There was no way to get any food. Yeah.
Well, eventually what happened was Save On at Park and Tilford here in North Vancouver called me and asked me if we could help them deliver. So we sent a ton of volunteers down to Save On Foods, to Queensdale Market. We had volunteers in there who were both delivering and picking. Yeah. So we sent people everywhere that they were needed, and they made a huge difference during the first several weeks.
You saved people.
I didn't deliver anything.
I know, but it's your brainchild, so...
I was the dispatcher. I was just like...
Yeah, but, you came up with the intention, and everybody grabbed onto that and went with it, which is so great. And then it morphed, right?
It's morphed.
Yeah.
Because what happened was every time a senior would call me and I put them together with a volunteer, they would, march away and be on their own, and I wouldn't hear from them again.
They're buddies.
They're buddies. We call them shopping buddies, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah.
Even though what was happening was at the same time, real estate was getting very, very busy. Like 2020 was my... Can you
explain why it's getting so busy during COVID? I don't understand.
I can totally explain why.
Okay.
So there are a number of reasons.
Okay.
The first reason is that people have changed the way they work. So very often now they are working from home, and sometimes it's two parents working from home in a 3-bedroom townhouse or a 2-bedroom apartment, and they just need some space. Can't send the kids to daycare. The kids weren't going to school. They needed some space. So that, coupled with the fact that interest rates are at a very, very low rate, meant that many people could qualify to move up to a house. And if they were smart, they were selling a condo in April and buying in June. Because by June, the house prices were coming up and the volume. Like, we had a dip, definitely, for between the middle of March and the middle of April.
Yeah, a little bit of a sag there, yeah.
Then I listed a house in North Vancouver in Westland Terrace, and I did it by appointment only, very COVID safe, and I had, 40 people come, like over the course of 3 days.
Wow.
And then I had multiple offers, and that kind of became the norm for several months.
Jeez.
So
is it still on that?
Well, when I talk about the market, I'm always going to talk about North Vancouver, single family homes, condos, townhouses. Like, those are 3 different markets. Right. And even from one community to the next, it's a little bit different. For example, Edgemont. Lynn Valley has come up quite a lot in value. So it used to be that you get a house in Edgemont for $1.5 million, and the same house in Lynn Valley for $1.2 million. Well, now it's more like $1.5 million and $1.4 million. Like, it's switched a little bit.
Okay.
So when we talk about the market, I'm always very specific in what market we're talking about. So
and just so people watching know, because they're from Indiana or wherever they're from, in Vancouver, the market is bizarrely high. Like, the average house price is higher than, we're in the top, I don't even know in the world, but
you can't get a single family home in the Lower Mainland for under $1 million unless it's an absolute teardown on a postage stamp size lot.
Right. So you're a millionaire. That doesn't mean too much.
Not here. No. So
sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure, because this goes out there, people will be like, wow, she only sells $1 million homes. It's like, that's the smaller homes.
That's right. kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, like, the average home price in North Vancouver, for example, is closing in on the $2 million mark. But there's lots in between, like 1.2 and 2 million. There's a lot of product.
Yeah.
Right? So right now, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point was that as North Van Cares was getting kind of less work, real estate was getting to be more work. But I didn't want to lose any of the momentum that I had created with North Van Cares.
Right.
So I accessed my graphic design capabilities, created a logo, slapped it on a bunch of environmentally friendly shirts, argued with people to try to get them to print them, then ended up printing them myself. And I sold them, and I gave all the money to a North Vancouver organization called Backpack Buddies.
Yeah, which is another interesting organization. Yeah. Jeez.
You should talk to them too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Backpack Buddies provides food for kids on the weekends. Kids who would normally access the hot lunch programs and breakfast programs through the school system. They often go home on the weekends and have nothing.
So did they, now with the COVID and being home from school, what the heck happened with that?
They had to redesign their entire business plan. And they were doing, they were doing food drops to Alert Bay in the northern part of the island.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing what they were able to accomplish.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't looked, deeply into them, just surface, but I don't know how big they've grown, or are they doing a lot?
They're doing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
That is amazing. And they also have an interesting story. I know, I was kind of briefly going over it. It's amazing how people just get this idea and then they just run with it. And while others just let the ideas, kind of percolate in there for about 10, 12 years and don't do anything, like that kind of thing. Sorry, I keep interrupting you, but that's my thing.
I like this. I like the back and forth. It's great. After that first design, which was just the North Van Cares logo.
Yeah.
After that went out, I thought, oh, wow, we gave them $750. This worked out really well. I sold about 50 pieces. So or I think 30 pieces. So the next one, I just did a bunch of new designs. I did a Dr. Bonnie Henry shirt. We were able to give 300 to the Greater Vancouver Food Bank, which I just delivered Monday.
Wow.
We did a North Shore Search and Rescue shirt. We did a North Shore Black Bear Society shirt. And a neighborhood house. So those are all on the website. All the money, not a percentage, all of the money from the sale of the shirts goes to the charities that they support.
So just so I can quickly, so we don't miss it, explain what the other two charities are about, just quickly. The Black Bears one.
So the Black Bear Society is a North Vancouver organization that provides education to the public on bear safety.
Yeah.
For people watching from other parts of the country or the province or the world or wherever,
Yeah.
we live right on the side of 3 mountains here. And the wilderness here is rough. It's and a bear can walk down out of his home into your home in moments.
Right.
And they do.
I remember I lived in Whistler for 6 months.
Right.
So yeah, they'd come in your yard. Just hello, good morning.
Yeah. And what happens too is that people think, oh, it's so cute, the bear's coming, and they leave food out, or they've accidentally left food out. And the bears are worse than labs when it comes to food motivation. So, and once a bear is domestic enough to not growl at people, then he's very, very dangerous.
Ooh.
So the Black Bear Society educates people on how to be bear aware. And we couldn't do without them. We'd have a lot of dead bears if it wasn't for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, we have to coexist in this world. We got to make sure we're doing it right, you know. And then you've got North Shore Rescue too, right?
Yeah, so North Shore Rescue it's probably one of my favorite designs.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
That's the North Shore Rescue shirt. They now have a TV show on Knowledge Network, which is...
I got to get my kids that for Christmas.
You're too late. Sorry, you can't get it now. But well, I might have some. Anyway, so North Shore Rescue is amazing. Started in the 60s with a bunch of guys who just were like backcountry hikers who realized that, you know, other people kept getting themselves into trouble. It's very, very easy to get into trouble here, walking on the North Shore and the hiking trails. One step off the trail, you can get turned around and lost for days. So our North Shore Rescue, they're an entirely volunteer society, but they are probably one of the best backcountry rescue societies in the world. And they are very, very busy, sadly, with rescues.
Jeez.
For anyone that
There's a lot of hikers here.
Yeah, lots of hikers. Lots of hikers, lots of unprepared hikers. For anybody that lives in North Vancouver, in the summer, you sound like you live in a war zone with the helicopters. It's all day, every day.
It terrifies me. My daughter is an avid hiker. And there's a quick story. 2 years ago, I think. She was in Mexico and she was walking on her own. She's a little tiny thing. She's like 4 feet and something, nothing. A wind would take her away. And she's all by herself on this trip to Mexico. She's got this like attitude that she can just do whatever. And she was attacked by a bunch of dogs. And attacked in Mexico. And they were, biting her legs and everything else. And somebody like a local saw and was able to shoo them away, but it was awfully close call. I had to fly her emergency to Canada to get rabies shots and all these things because it was really scary. But boy, did we have a talk about safety after that. So for anybody thinking of taking a hike, just it's not just all beautiful light flowers and nature out there. There's all kinds of stuff you can get yourself in trouble with. That's my quick story.
Crazy. Oh my gosh, that's a crazy story.
Scared the life out of me. Yeah,
I bet. Kids are jerks.
Hiking's great, but just be careful. Yeah. So anyway, back to North Shore. So they're amazing. They're volunteers and they know their stuff.
So yeah, it's crazy. They're amazing, and they always need money.
Okay.
So they're going to be one of our big benefactors going forward for sure. Always.
Well, these are great, and like it's a variety of different types of, in a way, different types, but yet has a theme to it. About the charities that you're representing. They're all in the Vancouver area. They all kind of focus in, right?
All local. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And one of the thoughts that you had in your mind is, how can I sell real estate ethically, keeping that, the charity, or keeping the philanthropy side to yourself? Are you feeling like you're achieving that? Is it an okay balance for you? How's it going?
Well, because we're in the middle of two big campaigns right now we did a whole, the third shirt campaign, which are a whole bunch of neighborhood designs. So North Vancouver is made up of a bunch of neighborhoods, like Lynn Valley, Deep Cove, Lower Lonsdale. So I did designs for all of those. So that was a big undertaking, and the printer is not happy with me. And then I decided to give away gifts. So we're giving away 150 very beautiful gift boxes to seniors and people who are isolated this year, who have been nominated by members of the community to receive a gift.
Okay.
So those two big campaigns mean that I am 85% nonprofit and 15% real estate. I hope my boss is not listening to this.
I won't tell him.
Although she's part of the group, so she probably realizes.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the giveaway, it was so, this is what happens. I just come up with an idea, and I'm like, oh, this would be a good idea. And then I don't ever consider how much work might be involved.
Right. Yeah, that's much like this, what I'm doing right now for a project. I mean, idea, and then it went, do one chat once in a while. Now I'm doing 2 a day.
Oh my God.
Plus editing, plus, plus all the other stuff you got to do with it. So I think we have a lot in common.
I think so too.
With our ways, the ways that we have an idea and we just go. You don't even.
I'm getting better at delegating. So I was able to delegate off most of the major tasks for the giveaway, which was great. Mm-hmm. And we had all the elementary school kids make cards for the seniors. Mm-hmm. And we put a call out for 200 and we got 1,200.
Oh!
Everybody participated. Everybody, all the kids wanted to make cards. So all the extra ones are going to care homes in North Van this year. Oh. I know, it's super cute. And I just sent them a thank you note through their teachers, telling them the story of my mom, who she's born in I'll give it to you really quickly.
Okay. We don't have any. It's okay.
I'll give it to you slowly then. She was born in 1930 in Toronto, and she was very, it was the Depression, and then the war started when she was 9, so there was never any money, and her mom was a single mom, 5 kids, so they didn't get Christmas presents until somebody nominated their family to get the Santa Claus Fund from the Toronto Star. Aww. And so in 1940, 41, and 42, my mom and her siblings got presents for Christmas from strangers. Yeah. And it had such a powerful impact on her life and the way she led the rest of her life and what she taught us, my siblings and I, and my girls and I. Yeah. My kids have always, when they were about 10, my mom asked if she could donate what she would have sent them for their stockings to the Santa Claus Fund, and of course they said yes. So they've always made donations to the Santa Claus Fund, and just that whole feeling of doing something for someone else, that oxytocin release that you get from giving. So I sent the kids that story of my mom, and it backs up even further, because Joseph Atkinson, who was the owner of the Star, created the fund, and he did it because when he was a poor kid in Toronto, a lady gave him a pair of skates. Mm. So sometime
that's the
at
thing,
the beginning,
you're paying. They're paying it forward. You're paying that mentality forward, because
that's it. And that's what I was saying to them. A lady giving a pair of skates to a man at the turn of the 1900s, to you guys making cards for strangers. It just keeps going, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we just got to keep making it bigger, and think of what you can do. And I said to them, think of what you can do to contribute. Can you help the aquarium? Can you, make food for people?
I'm really, really with you on that. I did something very similar with my kids. I remember when they were a little younger and they're kids, and they start getting in that Christmas consumerism mode. But this, that, and the other, and I would put the brakes on it so quick. Instead, I'd make them bake and write cards to all the people in palliative care and deliver it. So they got that in them. Now, like, I watch them, and I'll hear, for example, my daughter on the phone, and she'll be, just a sec, Mom, and she's in her car, and she's got, because homeless people will come up to her and stuff like that, and she keeps kits in her car ready with granola bars and bottled waters and everything ready in her car at all times. My son, he's into baking because he used to bake for those people in palliative care, and now he's into baking.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he bakes birthday cakes for families that can't afford to do it for their kids. So, I mean, what you're saying is, like, whatever it is that you can do, that you can think of, there's a way for you to help, to give back. And that's what you're saying. That's what you're teaching. That's what I hope people get from this video, is just anything that you can do. Like, for me, doing this, I get nothing for doing this except for the idea that if I can help a little bit with what little things that I have, and I have my voice, I can't work anymore. I've got a really bad back. I have 2 back surgeries coming. I've got bipolar disorder. I can't work a regular job. So, but what can you do? What can you do? And so for me, I can help give a voice to, to you and to other women who are, even at this time, some of their businesses are really struggling, just giving them a spotlight, somebody to, show them how great they are, because they get buried in all the stress that they're in. So for this, bringing that up, now that people are all charged up about giving back, what can they do right now to help in what you're working on right now? Now they want to help.
I don't know. No, I'm kidding. So we're taking donations still, because at the moment, I'll be funding part of the giveaway myself, just personally, because, I'm stupid. But
no, you're not. That's your heart. Your heart isn't stupid. It's pretty smart.
But we're definitely still taking nominations on the webpage. I've got it all. The Northvan Cares, make a donation. Okay. We have so many volunteers that we actually have far more volunteers for each aspect of what we're doing than we need, which is amazing and overwhelming. And thank goodness I have people taking care of that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I think just, I think showing your kids that there are people that they're so fortunate. They have lots of times they have no idea, no matter how much we try to impart on them. Like, my kids are funny. They're like, we're broke, we're poor. I'm like, you're not poor, you're broke. Like, just look at this straight. Like, you are not poor. If you were poor, you wouldn't be eating. You are a little bit broke at the moment. There's nothing you need to survive. Like, just, learning those things. I mean, my kids were forced to learn it because I was a single mom.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And maybe that's why they are so cognizant of that. But they really are. Like, it's part of their life. And I would like all the kids that we talk to and all the adults that we talk to just remember that there are people out there who are struggling. It's not always financial struggle. It's very often, particularly right now, it's often that emotional struggle, which, I have a fella on my list of nominees. I nominated him. We've taken care of him through our group. He's a double lung transplant recipient. Mm-hmm. So he's very immunocompromised. He spends his time trying to locate housing for people coming in for transplants into Vancouver. Mm-hmm.
What a thing.
Like, he's such an amazing guy. Yeah. So, and he's going to be alone at Christmas because his son isn't around right now. Aww. So, that's not fair, these great people, right? So we don't want them to be lonely. We want them to know that people are thinking of them. And we just want to, like, the whole tagline is, we're spreading joy across the North Shore. Yeah. And we're just going to make it lousy with joy. Like joy, 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 joy.
That is so nice. I mean, it'd be nice if you do know people that are going to be alone for Christmas, even just to get nice letters from kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Would be so nice, right? Like,
yeah, just go put a box of chocolates wrapped in a parcel on somebody's front doorstep and run away.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. They don't need to know who it's from. That doesn't matter. The glory doesn't matter. It's the giving that feels good. The receiving of praise isn't the feeling. But the thing I wanted to really hit home, though, to your listeners is that no matter what industry you're in, you can incorporate philanthropy into your own personal, corporate, social responsibility. Look at big companies like Patagonia, who have done it from the beginning, or Ten Tree, or Tom's Shoes. All of those companies wrote that into their corporate culture, and it's not hard to do. The endless pursuit of wealth is not ever going to make you feel good in your life. But if you can take some of that and give it back, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, it isn't. It builds something inside of you that you just can't get from anything else.
Yeah,
it just does something special. It's like, I think that we're all kind of connected somehow in my woohoo kind of spiritual way, and like
West Coast.
Well, we're real West Coasty here. I'm in Victoria. It's even more woohoo out here, So I really believe in that. It's like an energy that you're giving out, energy to the world, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. So with your real estate, are you taking on clients right now, or how's your?
Oh yeah. I want to be 100% authentic here. Every single piece of material that goes out to the people getting gifts and the donors are all getting a card, like a thank you card. And on the back of the thank you card, there's a blurb about who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not it's a very small amount compared to the whole piece, but I'm making sure that these people know that I sell real estate, because I do everything the way I do one thing. And I sell real estate the way I run North Van Cares.
Right.
With as much authenticity and just full on honesty. I wouldn't list your place today if you paid me. Well, you would pay me, but I wouldn't list it right now if it was a condo in North Vancouver, because we're not going to get any money for it. Right? We'll wait till January or February.
So do you deal mostly with one, do you do both the working with sellers and with working with buyers? Both?
Yep.
Okay. But if anybody is interested in North Vancouver, they can, this lady's got a heart of gold. So why not?
It sounds like I'm busy, and I am busy, but I'm never too busy to take care of my clients. I don't have a team. I'm never going to have a team. It's always going to be me you speak to. You're never going to call and get an assistant unless it's my daughter who picked up the phone and does her smart ass Jackie McCarnan's phone. How can I help you?
I have a 22-year-old. Okay.
Yeah. So I just, I just think that, I'm really proud of the group.
You should be, just to assemble anything that, first of all, is still intact. Two, that has more volunteers that can even handle. I mean, it's all insanity, the fact that it's just blown up the way that it has. It's crazy.
I thought it'd be a couple months of helping people out. I get a call from somebody, can you get us beer? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I just thought it would just be bim, bam, we're done. COVID's gone. Everybody's fine. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the universe had another plan for you. Sorry about that. And it's just growing. It's just continuing and I'll be putting all the Facebook links and everything in the description box below, and a little bit more about Jackie and how to get in touch with her. And am I forgetting anything? Can you think of anything that I'm not hitting on? Because that can happen.
Yeah, I think for people who are struggling during this time with their own emotional issues, and people who are generally really active and really social, or even people who are accustomed to volunteering a lot, I think what I want them to know is, by starting North Van Cares, I've kind of replaced, like, I haven't been sad through the pandemic at all, right? I've always had this purpose.
Yeah.
And there are lots of places that need help still.
Right.
You know, lots of places that need phone calls. You know, like, people who are sad and down, call a senior's home and get a number of somebody to call and cheer up.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You'll feel so much better.
Yeah, what a great idea.
Right?
And so, like, they would just call up and ask. Do you have people doing that right now?
Yeah, I at the beginning I had a lot of that. Oftentimes they don't want to give out a number, but you can, you know, you can find other ways. Like, you can, you know,
write a nice letter,
drop it off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, well, just to remind everybody, it's northvancares.com. And if you're inspired and want to donate, at the very least, go to the website. And again, you know, best market in the world, Vancouver, North Van, Vancouver homesales.com is your website. And I'll leave it all below. Right?
North Van Home Sales.
northvanhomesales.com. Yeah. I'll make sure it's correct. Thank you so much, Jackie. What a blast this has been, and inspiration. And it's getting around that season where we need to, instead of feeling sad about what we don't have, keep reaching out, because it will numb that horrible, sad feeling you have. You'll be lifted up by it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a lovely day. Thanks again.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Come to Victoria. Have lunch.
I'd love to. Tea,
whatever. All right. Sounds good. Bye.